Hi, I'm Mike Lopez with Expert Village, and today we're going to be discussing the green color in Magic the Gathering.
Here we have Woodland Changeling. Woodland Changeling is 1 and a green. It's a creature, it's a shapeshifter. It's a common. It's a changeling, which means that he is every and all creature types at all times. It's a 2/2, which means that you are getting direct, even mana production because your converted mana cost of 2 is giving you a creature with power and toughness equal to 2 and 2, which is even. And he is a changeling, which means you can put him in any deck with anything that boosts up any creatures. Your elf deck, your goblin deck, your giant deck, your treefolk deck, anything, because all the bolstering effects help him because he is every and all creature types at all times, which can make him a potentially very powerful creature, especially in a multicolored deck. The environment now is definitely geared for multi-colored, powerful decks that are based solely on creature and creature boosting. Now here we have Stalking Tiger. Stalking Tiger, it's a very cool creature out of the green set. It's a basic. He's been around since the beginning. He's a creature, he's a cat, which means he gets cat bonuses. He is basic, he's common, he's a 3 and a green, converted mana cost of 4. He's a 3/3 and has a really cool ability. His cool ability is that Stalking Tiger can't be blocked by more than one creature, which means if you boost him up, people cannot group block Stalking Tiger. Once again, little guys cannot group block Stalking Tiger, so therefore the only creatures that he has to worry about are 3/3s and creatures that are higher than 3/3. Once again, very powerful card because they cannot group block. You can also play him and then play a giant growth on him and he becomes a 6/6 that cannot be group blocked. It's a very, very powerful card, and if you were to add trample, very, very dangerous. And here we have Elvish Uologist. Elvish Uologist, it's a 1, costs you 1. You're getting a 1/1, perfectly even mana production cost. It's an Elf Shaman, it's a common. So again, if you have an elf deck, you need 4 of these in there. So I would suggest you spend 25 cents on each, $1 on 4 of them, and go buy them and stick them in your currently Type 2 legal elf deck. The reason for this is because it comes into play, which helps out all your other elves who get benefits from having other elves in play. And he is an elf shaman, so he gets benefits for being an elf and being in play. But he also has the ability that you can sacrifice him at any time. You sacrifice Elvish Uologist, you gain 1 life for each elf card in your graveyard. Once again, with elf decks, you're going to realize that a lot of creatures are going to die off, or you might have every creature that you have out die off, and then you have to rebuild your elf ranks. Well, if you rebuild with this creature and you are taking damage, you can put her into play, sacrifice her, and gain life for every elf in your graveyard, which at that point in time would probably be a phenomenal gaining of life. Here we have Cloud Crown Oak. It's 2/2 green. He is a common from Llanowar. He's a creature treefolk warrior. He's a 3/4 and he has reach. Now, the reason this card is very, very powerful is because it is a common, which means it comes in a lot of boosters. It also means that you can buy 4 of them for $1 at most gaming stores. Also means that the mana production is pretty much even. You're paying 4. You're getting a 3/4, which is almost even in itself. But he also has a very, very powerful ability. His ability is reach. Now, once again, a lot of creatures are going to have flying. The only way to counter flying is to have other creatures with flying or creatures with reach. Now, in the green set, you're going to see a lot of creatures with reach because big creatures can kill flying creatures. So we have reach on this guy, which means he can block both flying and non-flying creatures, which makes him a very good card to have, especially if you are having anything that boosts warriors or tree folk. This is Rushwood Dryad. This here is Rushwood Dryad. It's a 1 and a green. The creature is a Dryad. It's a common, very common in your basic set in 10th edition. It's 2 and a 1. And as a bonus to getting not only almost even mana to converted mana to power toughness ratio, you're also getting a very cool ability, and this ability is Forest Walk. What Forest Walk does is if your opponent happens to control a forest, then this creature is unblockable. The reason she is 2/1 is because of this unblockable nature. This is a card that you would sideboard in if you run into an opponent that is running with forest, because Forest Walk makes you automatically, after round 2, which means round 3, after this creature is summoning sick, you can begin hitting your opponent for 2 every turn until they deal direct damage to this Dryad. Here we have a Crawlworm. He's been around since beta. He is a common in the basic set, 10th edition. He is 4, 2 green. This is 6 converted mana, cost of 6. However, this card is a very good card because it is an attacking worm, and you're getting a 6/4 Crawlworm, 4/6. But once again, in green, it will probably come out sooner because green has a lot of ways to bolster your deck up. And bolstering your deck up is a very good thing to do, especially if you plan on playing like a 6/4 worm. These are what they call sleeper cards that you will see in a lot of elf decks. Most people are geared up for elves, so they will start taking out the elves and not even think about the big creatures that are hiding amongst the elf ranks. So sneaky elf players will put a few large creatures in their decks to turn the tables in late game. Here we have Kavu, Climber. It's 3 and 2 green. He is a creature Kavu, which means he gets bonuses for Kavu. He is a common, which means he costs you 25 cents at your local gaming store. He is from the 10th edition, as we can see from the icon. He is a 3/3 creature. You paid 5, you got a 3/3 creature, which means you're going to have an ability. The ability on this creature is when Kavu, Climber, comes into play, draw a card. Now the reason this is such a powerful ability is because you're playing him on turn 5, and oftentimes with green and a lot of faster decks, you're going to find that turn 5 you're going to have no hand at all. So by playing this 3/3 creature in your deck, you get to play him, have a 3/3 creature on turn 5. That allows you to draw a card, which allows you to cycle through your deck faster, which allows you to get to other cards that you may want to play. Here we have Elvish Branch. I need something to drink. Here we have Elvish Branchbender. It's 2 and a green. It's a new character from the Land War set. He is a common, 25 cents at your local store. It's a must for any elf deck. The reason he is a must for any elf deck is because he's a 2/2 elf, which is big for the world of elves. He only costs you 3, and you're going to get a cool ability. Besides the fact that he is gaining from all your elf bonuses, he also has the ability that you can tap him And he has the ability that until end of turn, target forest becomes an XX treefolk creature in addition to its other types, where X is the number of elves you control, which means that you can turn a land that was not even seen as a creature into a treefolk, and into a treefolk that has X power and toughness of X equal to your elves. So if you have a lot of elf tokens, you can potentially turn a forest, which was seen as nothing, into a 10/10 treefolk creature, who will also get bonuses from treefolk. Very powerful card for your elf deck. Here we have Elvish Berserker. Elvish Berserker is a very, very powerful elf card. Costs you 1. It's a first turn, first play card. It's a 1/1, perfectly even mana to power and toughness ratio. So your converted mana cost spent was 1. Your power and toughness are 1 and 1. And he has the ability, whenever